Thank you so much for watching. Today we will be taking a look at my RC workshop slash studio, carpentry workshop, guest house, whatever the hell you want to call it. I got a gazillion things to tell. I won't be able to do that, so I will sort of like take you through some of the highlights. If you have any questions, comments whatsoever, don't hesitate to leave those in the comments box. I can't express enough how grateful I am for everybody being patient. I know that I have really not been making any videos in the past couple of months, but it's just so I could give this building and finishing it up my undivided attention. Right now, the studio part is completely done. The office part is completely done. And some stuff still needs work, but it is fully operational and I will be able to make videos again. So here we go. Currently an absolute mess over here. This is going to be my carpentry workshop. This is also where I will be executing all of my paintwork in the future. Really nice space. I'm super happy with it. Everything still needs to be finished when it comes to walls, ceilings and whatnot. But I do think that you get a good overall idea of what this space looks like and how much daylight I'm actually getting in. These are windows that I've reused, so I managed to scoop this up from somebody who was changing out their windows in town. All the doors as well, all the inside doors are, most of them are actually antiques that I reused, repurposed. So that's really nice, and these big barn doors, I made these from scratch. They are fully insulated, but it gives me the opportunity to open up one part, two parts, or like absolutely everything in summertime when it's like nice temperatures outside. Let's take this door. Let's go outside and have a look over there. You can tell that the outer wall over here has no windows at all. I did that on purpose because this is the studio. I don't want to have any daylight coming in from behind. The wall on the other side is also completely closed off, just so it's as neutral as possible in there. This is for the airco, heating pump, whatever you call it. And then I immediately made a deck on the back of the building. Now this deck is going to be amazing if I want to paint something, whether that's RC wise or carpentry wise. Just gives me a nice amount of outside space. All of the cladding, everything is solid wood, so we don't use any PVC over here in Europe. Just to give you an idea of the layout, this is where we just were, so these two windows, and then this is the barn door. On the left, that's actually where my studio is. Then there's a room on top of it, and my office with those two skylights is actually built in part over the carpentry workshop. And then there's like an additional guest room over here, but we will go have a look at that as well. Now, stuff like this balcony and the deck in the back, it's really tempting to go ahead and go like, yeah, you know what, I'll do that at some point when I get around to it. If you have the opportunity to get around to it immediately, just do it. In this case, for me, it came out really useful as well, just because I needed to fill in that entire wall, finish up the roof and whatnot. And this is not a great place to put scaffolding, so I actually used this balcony as scaffolding. So I immediately built it before I actually finished up the wall. Now I really didn't have any purpose for this room over here initially. That is until I managed to get my hands on an extra TV. That's when I decided, you know what? This is actually going to be pretty cool as a TV room. Behind all these little doors is a ton of storage room. So that continues all the way, basically along the length of the building, both on the left and on the right. So that is pretty convenient because everybody has camping gear, boxes, stuff that you really don't need every day. Next room is my office. I'll be spending a lot of time here editing videos and whatnot. There's a ton of daylight coming in, which I absolutely love. I can also open up these skylights, so that allows me to get some fresh air in the process. This room has truly become everything that I hoped that it would become. So these skylights also double as a way for me to get some extra daylight in downstairs in the studio. This desk is huge. It is actually IKEA and I custom cut it to fit. There's some little cabinets built in the sides there as well. I got a fridge, which is really important. I can finally use my office chair, and I got a few trolleys as well for like some projects that I'm working on. Now this actually used to be the old outside door. It was peeling, it had like green paint on it, looked hideous. But I managed to restore it and use it over here. I think that's really nice to have like some sort of old touch, like some sort of original part as well in this building, just to, I don't know, give it some sort of tribute. This room is a guest room. So in case my parents are visiting, they have, I think, a pretty nice place to stay. So there's like a double bed. There's a little table here with 2 chairs. And then, along the sides, again, all these cubby holes. So all these places where I can stash some stuff. Now if we go down this staircase, which I also completely handmade, you will see that there's some additional access to those cubby holes. So you can never have enough storage room and you can never have enough access to that storage room, I think. And again, this is just great to put some camping gear or some moving boxes or basically whatever. Everybody has a lot of high volume stuff laying around, I think, that you kind of want to get rid of. Whatever's mounted to the wall here, it all bears real significance. So Besang is a little town in France where I spent most of my vacations growing up. Made some amazing memories over there. I also got some great friends. This is a picture of Edam. Edam is the town where I grew up in Holland. So I lived there for 29 years before actually moving to Norway. My dad still lives here, I still have a lot of friends living there, so that's also why it needed to have a little place in the studio. Well, and that then eventually brings us to this part, which is the studio. I think this is also the most interesting part because, this is where you will actually see me work from. So unboxings are either going to take place with me sitting there, so that's kind of, I guess, like a familiar setting. It's actually even the same chair that I had inside the house. Or I'm going to be standing. There's a level difference here, which is 2 steps down, like 15 inches, which I decided to save. So I could have, of course, closed this up and made sure that that this whole floor would continue in one level. But instead, I decided to save these 2 steps down, to save that level difference, just because I think it can make for some interesting filming, maybe a tiny bit more energetic at times. At times it can be really handy to actually stand up. This is a really Dutch table. These are actually old cheese boards, and after they changed all of those systems to stainless, these boards were made available, or they were getting rid of them. And my dad and I, we bought those and we made a ton of furniture from these type of boards. I modernized it a tiny bit with some IKEA drawers. So everybody has a ton of tiny stash that they need to get rid of as well. So I put 2 of those drawer blocks under it. They fit the color of the upper wall really nicely. So it blends in pretty well in this space. And I got some shelving room over here for some of my smaller cars. So some of the 10 scale crawlers. There's an Exoterra there, also a Yeti. in the very bottom. I will go through all of those cars at a later stage. I don't think that's interesting for this video. Then also in this step down area, I wanted to have some tools, so I installed this Baco tool cart. Amazing tools, by the way. Really nice quality cart, and I think it fits into this wall, into this entire assembly really nicely. It just looks completely finished like this. Also finally have a place for my knife collection. Started collecting knives over 30 years ago, so kind of every time I'm in France I actually buy a knife. Everything is traditional carpentry, so I hope you'll be able to see some of that in, for example, the ceiling over here. Big beams, faux floorboards, because I wanted to conceal all of the electricity in between what is the ceiling over here and what is the top floor. So this is kind of constructed in a way like you would find in a traditional house in Holland. Same with these walls. Then the top part of the wall, I wanted to make it a tiny bit darker, just so I could continue that dark color on that wall, truly make all of the vehicles pop. Nice big window in the front. Again, no windows in this wall and no windows in the back wall. So all of the daylight coming in is actually coming in through the front and then through the top floor, so through the office, through those two skylights that I have over there. So it's a tiny bit indirect. So this is a really nicely neutrally lit area. I do have lights, like LED pipe lights behind this beam, just to light up the shelving system on this wall. I also have some LED pipe lights behind the step, so that kind of lights up the back wall on this end. I still want to do something over here with a logo, but I guess we'll do that in the future. Maybe you can suggest something that's fun. Underneath the staircase, underneath this platform over here, I will actually make a big drawer, 3 by 3 foot, that I can completely pull out, and my CNC machine is going to sit on that one. I'm not sure if you must have noticed it in all of my videos. My CNC machine has always been sitting on my table, my X-Carve. It is a great machine, but I don't want to have it that prominently sort of like in my face the entire time. Under this hatch over here, I still want to change this out and make it look like it's a part of the floor, but under this hatch is a basement. So there's a basement under this entire raised section of the foundation. This door comes from Edam, so this comes from Holland. My dad brought this over. I think it's super cool. It's very old. I think it's anywhere between 100, 120 years old. So it has old glass in it. I think it's pretty cool to have like some custom touches like that. This is a map of Paris. I love Paris. And then over here a little hallway. And what is going to become a bathroom in the future. But I will finish this in fall, winter. Let's enjoy summer first. I hope that gives you a tiny bit of an idea of what it looks like over here. There's such an amount of stuff to tell, and there's so much ground to actually cover that I will not be able to do that in one video. I actually had to reshoot this a couple of times just because I tend to sort of like get lost in wanting to explain little details, and I'm just not able to do that in one video. So there will be an additional video, I think at some point, where I show you some of the cars and trucks that I have on display over here. And perhaps you have some suggestions. Maybe you want to see some of the carpentry stuff in some more detail, and I can take you through that. For now, I think we're just going to wrap it up over here. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. If you are subscribed, make sure you hit that notifications bell. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. Greatly helps. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments box, and I will make sure to get back to you. Thank you again so much for being patient. Stay safe, and I will see you around. Take care. Bye-bye.
Test. Back on.